Hello, hello. I feel like it's been such a long time. It is so good to see you guys again. I should be done with traveling for the rest of the year. And look at that, right on time. 5 o'clock. Right on time. Okay? I'm pretty impressed. The past few months have been a little insane, but we are going to be continuing our live streams every Monday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and if you ever notice that I haven't went live, or you're curious about the upcoming videos or when the next live stream will be, or if there's any changes to the live stream at all, you all in Telegram will be notified through there. So that is the place to be for like live updates or to connect with the community when we are not live. And we do have our Facebook community group, but I'm not posting about that too much because I think a lot of people don't use Facebook too much, especially Facebook groups. I have a few that I that I like to be in, but if you're looking for like immediate feedback on any dreams you're having, questions, experiences you're having, then I will lead you to the Telegram group. The Facebook group is still beneficial to ask questions, post your experiences in there. If I get around to seeing your post in there before anyone else, I will definitely respond to you and help you with your issue, your dream experience, whatever it is. Yeah, no worries, Greg. I have been mostly on Facebook for like poi spinning groups and stuff because that's like the recent thing that I got into, which we will talk about because it does relate to my trip. Hello Martin, how's it going? So good to see you again, it's been so long. So yeah, we will kind of talk about that, and that's probably some content that you guys have seen a little bit of. I have been practicing poi spinning every single day since I saw my first fire show in Hawaii, so that's kind of like my new obsession right now, so you may see more content about that. What is up, Eric? How's it going? So sorry I didn't get back to your text in time, but yes, we are continuing the lives at 5, live at 5. Okay, now you can set it and forget it because that's what it will actually be. But it's good to see you guys back. Jason, what is up? So good to see you again. I hope that you all have been doing well. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about lucid dream control, lucid dream flying. I've gotten a lot of questions about that. So we're going to be diving into that today. But before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know where the hell I have been for the last little bit. I am getting the app finalized, so my content will be moved to an app soon. All this content is still going to be here, obviously, but through this app, I will be creating like dream work guides. It will all be audio stuff, so I'll have guided meditations, dream work guides, even my 11-hour sleep music will also be on that app, so you can listen to it ad-free, disruption-free. If you don't have like YouTube Premium or something, that might be beneficial. But more to be released on that soon. I'm creating my first challenge for this app. It's going to be a 7-day meditation challenge, and then I'm going to be doing a 14-day lucid dreaming challenge on there. So those are the two big things I am creating for the app. Next, I've already got a few things on there, and for those of you who have been testing the app, you should have access to all of that on there, and I can't wait to hear from you guys about how it's going and how you like the app so far. I'm super stoked. I'm super excited to be doing something new like that. And as far as the podcast, it was getting a little bit complicated to create the podcast in my setup because the mics that I had were cutting out and it was making editing the podcast such a pain in the ass. So I'm going to be changing things up for that. I'm just going to be basically using my phone to record my podcast until I find the camera that I like. If there's anybody that knows a bit about different cameras for whether it's like vlogging, podcasting, and you have some recommendations, let me know. But I'm looking at like the Sony A7 I series. I know it's Sony A7. I don't really know a lot about, I haven't ever had like a really proper nice camera before. Everything that you've seen so far for the last like 4 years has been done from my phone or just my little webcam on my computer. So I will be upgrading all of that stuff. So I am going to just start recording podcasts on my phone, and we're just gonna go for it because I really miss having those longer talks with you. And I have a whole I have like a whole year-long like list of stuff that I want to do on the podcast. So I'm gonna try to at least start like releasing one episode a month, and then I'll go up to like 2 episodes a month, and then ideally, eventually, I would love to do one like every Friday. But we're just gonna start off with once a month, just so I can test out my equipment and see what works. I have really been, you can't see it right here because my desk probably looks pretty much the same, but I've also like completely, let me see if I can actually show you. So I've been redoing my living room. You can't really tell too much, but I've really like aloha-fied my house is what it feels like, because I got so inspired after I came back from Hawaii, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Oh cool, Jason. Yeah, that's one of the cameras that I was looking at, so I'll have to look into it. The app, I don't know if you can see it yet. It's called Peak, but it hasn't completely launched yet. So you might not see it, but I will let you guys know as soon as it launches, and you will be able to see all the content on there. We're going to be building a Discord community. There's going to be gifts and prizes and things for being a member of the app, and there will also be cool offers for the challenges that you complete, and it will be very engaging. You'll have direct access to me and the community, and it will be something that we can create together and kind of build a little community somewhere else outside of YouTube as well, where there is specific content created for the app that you can't find anywhere else. And some stuff I will be able to post for like members and stuff and Patreon. So if you're not interested in like joining the app, for example, or for whatever reason, you will still be able to see some of the stuff that we have on the app. Let's see. Flying in lucid dreams is so easy for me that in my first lucid dream I was already flying when I became lucid. Yes, and we're going to talk about why that is. Why is it super easy for some people to fly in their lucid dreams? What does it seem like impossible for others? And then we'll also troubleshoot some of these lucid dream issues and see what we can do about them. What is up, Nathan? How's it going? So good to see you here. Nathan is new to the community. He actually found my YouTube channel from a Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom group that we were both in. So welcome, Nathan. So good to see you. You don't need makeup needs you. You're really beautiful today. Just wow, thank you so much. I haven't worn any makeup since I got back from Hawaii. Oh, my skin felt so good out there. It's so beautiful. Let's get into that, and then we'll dive into the rest of what I wanted to tell you guys. So I got invited out to stay with family in Oahu. And I saw that there was some concerns about me going to Maui, and I was nowhere near Maui. I wasn't even on the same island, so there's no restrictions in Oahu where I went. So I want to make that clear up front, because I did see some concerns about that. I spent about 5 days in Hawaii. A lot of that before that was like preparing work, trying to get things taken care of, going through stuff, and then when I got back I had so much to catch up on in my personal life, my home, my business, and so I'm just getting back into things. But it was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, and I've been to Costa Rica, I've been to Mexico, and this is by far the most beautiful place I've ever seen. Of course, I loved Mexico, I loved Costa Rica, but Hawaii has a specific magic to it, and I've hardly explored any of Hawaii, so it's very new to me. But it was just so beautiful, so inspiring. The beaches were like the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen in my life, and it sucked because I wanted to go live for you guys like the day I went out there or like the day following, but it must have been like traveling or I don't know what, but I was sick for like the first 2.5 days. Like I couldn't even hold any food down, I couldn't really leave the house. It was really rough for me, and so I'm hoping next time it's a little bit easier, which I definitely think it will be. But so I was like down for a little bit out there for like 2 days, and we did a ton of different things. There was lots of places that Chance's parents wanted to take us to. One of the places was the Polynesian Culture Center, where we got to learn all about the different Hawaiian islands and immerse ourselves in the culture and see some things that really inspired me. I saw traditional Maori poi spinning, which that's where poi spinning originated in New Zealand, and I got to see that performance. And then what really stuck with me was the fire spinning out there. And for those of you who have been following my shorts, I was kind of creating shorts, YouTube shorts as I was out there, just to kind of let you guys know like what's going on. And that was probably the most influential day for me, like what stuck with me the most, because that same day I ended up picking up a pair of my own poi to bring back with me so I could practice. And since I saw that fire show, I have practiced every single day, even out there, and I'm very inspired to eventually spin fire someday, and so I've been practicing a lot, and it is so cool. I've already met so many other poi spinners and like fire dancers and just like flow artists from practicing, and it feels really, really good. I really, really love it, and so you guys may see some of that content as well on the channel as I as I practice and as I learn. So if I'm not like a pro, it's because I've been doing it for less than a month, but I'm very proud of myself because it's been like any free time that I have, which is usually like after midnight, I practice for at least a few hours. And it is so cool. Flow arts is so badass. I can't believe I didn't get into it sooner. Chance has been spinning for like 17 years, and so it's been nice to like learn like just on my own, and then ask him about a couple things and be able to get like a demonstration like live, so I can really, really, really learn as efficiently as possible. I almost lived in Maui, but I love Southern Utah too much. So you've been to Hawaii then, Greg, or you were just thinking about moving out there? It is so, so beautiful. Blue flame spinning video incoming. You know it. I'm for sure super obsessed with it right now. That's like one of the only things that I could, like, I haven't even painted since I got back because spinning is like all I can think about, and just once you start to like, the coordination that it takes is insane. I've definitely been learning so much about how intricate these moves are, but also how they can flow really beautifully into different things. And I love sacred geometry. I've always loved that, and with poi I can basically give you guys a show of what I would maybe consider as like hypnagogic imagery induction. There's really beautiful patterns and shapes and just a beautiful flow that it takes, you know, to spin fluidly. And I'm learning. I'm definitely a beginner still, but I just see how this could be beneficial to dream work. And so once I start really, you know, getting it, and even before then, I will definitely make a video and spin for you guys, or live. I won't be able to do it over here because there's a ton of things over here. Can I show you my new little tea thing? I'm going through some boxes, so that's why there's some stuff there, but I got this cool little tea thing. So I basically have my electric kettle here, and then this is like a loose leaf tea thing. And so there's a little magnet in here that allows the tea to actually come out once the magnet hits it. And so you can just steep your tea in here, and then boop, you can fill up your little tea, pour it in your little cup. I've already got way too many beverages over here, so I'm going to do that in a little bit. I've got tea, I've got coffee, I've got a kombucha, a sparkling water, regular water, and I think I'm good now. Yes! Eric, yes, that would be so, so, so cool. And if there's anyone else that does like poi spinning or whatever, definitely let me know, because I definitely want to meet more people that spin, and I think it's just so cool. And I've only went outside once to practice poi spinning so far. It's a little, I'm a little shy to go by myself, because I'm so new, and because it draws so much attention, I want to make sure that like I kind of know what I'm doing. But I'm pretty proud with my progress so far. Right now I'm learning like wrist wraps and stuff, so like really cool type of wraps I can do. Family there. Oh, cool, Greg. That's awesome. Yeah, I've only been to Oahu. There's so much to explore in Hawaii, so I'm very excited to go back. The beaches were beautiful. I collected some sand, and I went shell hunting, which is one of my favorite things to do. Every time I go to a beach, I have to get some sand and I have to find some shells. And I've been learning all about like shark teeth hunting, and it's super dope. I didn't find one. I was on a time limit too, because I was like the day I was leaving, I went to go pick up sand. But yeah, so hopefully one day I find my first very own shark tooth. That would be so cool. But yeah, it was a very powerful trip for me. I felt very connected. There's just so, and I even picked up some books on like Hawaiian magic and spirituality, because just everything I was learning out there was like, oh my god, I never wanted to leave. It's so fucking awesome. So I got some books when I got back. I completely like beached up my house. So I got tons of Hawaii type stuff all over my house. I'll have to show you guys in a video when I take you around to go show you all my plants and stuff. I would, but a ton of my stuff is in the room, and Chance is still sleeping with Juno. Even though it's 5 p.m., it's fine. But I'll have to show you some of the stuff I got. I got so many beautiful dresses. I don't really wear dresses too much, but traveling has definitely helped me kind of branch out in what I feel like I would usually wear or like, and so that's been cool. But yeah, super cool trip. Saw lots of incredible animals. Got to hang out with the sea turtles. And actually, one important note is I've always been like terrified of the ocean. I wouldn't say it's of the ocean. I would say it's of like deep bodies of water mostly, because in my life I cannot tell you how many times I've almost drowned as a kid. So many, probably at least 10. And so, and I've never like swam really in the ocean or anything. And so obviously you assume that you can float. But I had no experience. All I know is I've almost drowned in like a million reservoirs and lakes and stuff when I was little, because I'm from Utah. We don't got any beaches out here, but I want one. And so I'm like, you know what? All right, I'll try something new. So I decided to try snorkeling for the first time, and it was one of the funnest things I've done. It was so magical, and if I had a GoPro, that would be like the perfect thing to have a GoPro for, because it was just the coolest experience ever. So yeah, it was definitely very fun out there. I appreciate you all for showing up today and hanging out with me. Let's get into the topic. So lucid dreaming control and lucid dreaming troubleshooting. We're going to talk about that. So I would love to hear what you guys have to say on lucid dreaming control. What's difficult about lucid dreaming? What do you find easy about lucid dreaming? Let's start diving in. And those of you who have never had a lucid dream before, what do you want to do when you first get lucid? We've talked about the benefits of lucid dreaming, the possibilities through lucid dreaming, and what you can immerse yourself in when you're lucid. And for those of you who are new to lucid dreaming, I'm sure most of you do know what lucid dreaming is, but just in case there's anyone new here, lucid dreaming is the ability to realize you're dreaming as the dream is happening. So you are asleep in bed, you realize that you are dreaming by something usually in the environment triggering you that it is a dream. And the reason why we don't all know that we're dreaming all the time is because our habits in waking life usually carry over to our dreams eventually. So if you have it ingrained in your mind that you know that you're awake and it seems silly to check, of course I'm awake, then you're going to notice that you dreamed that same way. You're going to dream with that level of certainty that you are in fact awake, causing you to miss out on an opportunity to lucid dream. But it's not your fault. This is totally how it is for all of us, because we're really unlearning ways of thinking. A lot of practices when it comes to healing or inner child work or whatever it may be, it's really unlearning more than it is learning, because as adults, we have soaked up so much programming, so many different types of beliefs from so many different types of people with different backgrounds than us, and so we don't even realize the limiting thoughts that we have until we start to work through them and realize, oh, for some reason I believe this, but I don't really align with this. And that's how we can begin to change our mind, to reprogram our brain to be the person that we want to be, is by looking at what we truly believe and think about things, and looking at what actually resonates with us or what we want to believe, and we start to give that more equal airtime than the thought that or the belief that we want to kind of get rid of or dissolve or change. So when it comes to lucid dreaming, the thought or the belief that you should be adapting as much as possible is you could be dreaming at any moment. You really could. And I'm sure that you've had dreams that are more vivid than real life is probably how you would describe them. I know that I've had dreams like that as well. Now adding lucidity into it, now you're activating the prefrontal cortex part of your brain, which is associated with your sense of self and your critical thinking. That's what gets you lucid, is that prefrontal cortex part of your brain activating. And so if we want to make this a habit, then we should start working on activating this part of our brain more when we are awake. And how can we do that? By asking yourself all the right questions. So we've talked a little bit about reality checks on this channel, probably more than a little bit. I have a whole playlist dedicated to it because it's such a big topic when it comes to lucid dreaming. And if you're wanting to spontaneously learn how to lucid dream, this is definitely the way to do that, so you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night and do techniques to try to get lucid. It's really all a way of thinking. It really comes down to presence and activating that part of your brain that we just talked about. So there's two types of reality checks, but they connect as one. We should both use them together. But there's something called the mental reality check, which is the questioning, the mental questioning, scanning your environment, seeing if you remember how you got to where you are. Do you know where you are? Where were you 10 minutes ago? Is there anything odd or weird about what you're experiencing right now? And you want to ask yourself these questions and take it seriously, because you can ask yourself the questions, but if you don't try to answer these questions, then you will dream of asking yourself the questions, but you'll notice that you don't try to answer the questions. And this is how it was for me when I first started to lucid dream. I learned about reality checks, and it was kind of hard to get them to stick at first. But I would stop throughout the day, and I would ask myself these questions, but I noticed that I would like kind of rush through it. It was more of like just to check it off. Like, okay, I did a reality check type thing, but it wasn't me really practicing questioning. And that's what you really want to start doing with reality checks, is really asking yourself truly question by question and waiting until you have received an answer from yourself to determine what state you're in before you move on to the next question. So those are some of my favorite questions to ask, like, is there anything weird or odd about what I'm experiencing? Where was I 10 minutes ago? Do I know where I am, who I am with, what I'm doing? And I like to trace my day backwards, because if you do this and it becomes a habit and you actually start to do this in the dream and trace your day back, you're going to realize the last thing that you remember was getting into bed. So that should activate the awareness, the knowingness in your brain that you are in fact dreaming. Sometimes the brain is tricky. Sometimes we are like half dreaming, and lucidity is a spectrum. Okay, so you can know that you're dreaming but not be following through with your reality checks. And just to get into that, so really fast. So a pre-lucid dream is when you almost become lucid. A pre-lucid dream could be when you ask yourself a question or you realize something's off but you don't catch on. That's a pre-lucid dream. And you could get lucid in a pre-lucid dream, but that moment of pre-lucidity is right before you get lucid. Whether you end up getting lucid or not, you can tell that you're starting to have some pre-lucidity when you start to have more awareness in your dreams. So that is technically the first layer is non-lucid, which is just a normal non-lucid dream. Then we go up to pre-lucid, which is right before you realize you're dreaming. Then we go up to semi-lucid. This is where you're dreaming, but you're like kind of don't care. You just want to like continue the storyline because it seems like a little bit too much work to follow through with your lucid dream plan. Or maybe you do get lucid and then you kind of fall out of lucidity and it kind of turns into a normal dream again. That would also be considered semi-lucid, because you're not fully lucid, but you're not lucid. You're kind of like in between that awareness and a non-lucid dream. Let's see. And then the next one is fully lucid. So this is where you fully know that you are dreaming. You can move throughout the dream while maintaining awareness that you are dreaming, and that's basically like full lucidity. The highest step is super lucid. Now this is probably what you experienced, Martin, in your first lucid dream, and that's also how my first lucid dream was as well, was a super lucid dream. Now a super lucid dream is like a fully lucid dream, but you have a lot more control and influence over the actual dream environment. So you could just think about manifesting something, like in my case, for my first lucid dream, I realized I was dreaming and I just assumed, well, if this is a dream, then that means anything is possible. And I just held out my hand, thought about a cupcake. My nickname as in junior high used to be Cupcake. And so that's the first thing that I thought about. I don't know why that was my nickname, but junior high is a weird time, but that's the thing I chose to try to manifest. And it just appeared right in front of me without me even having to think. That's a super lucid dream. When you have so much awareness that it turns into so much control or influence. Now that's a connection I would like you guys to remember. Awareness equals control within the lucid dream. The more aware you are, the more present you are that you are dreaming, the more influence and control you will have over the dream. So if all we have to do is build awareness to build control, then that means you can use this waking state directly to influence your dreams at night based on how aware you become in your reality checks, how much awareness you can take in with you as you're falling asleep. Now there's tons of practices to do this. Again, there's liminal dreaming, which is a great way to practice awareness, and we've talked about that a little bit on the channel. I even think I have like a couple liminal dreaming guided meditations on this channel. There is reality checks, looking through your dream journal and identifying dream signs and moments you could have gotten lucid. That is also building awareness. And sometimes I like to do that right before bed, because if I go to bed with the last thing on my mind is related to dreams, then that means I'm more likely to think about dreams when I'm in my dreams. I always let you guys know to try to capitalize on your like the time that you spend right before you fall asleep. Because, for example, if you spend your night watching a horror movie before bed, but it isn't your intention to dream about it, you may dream of that horror movie, and that's because that's the last, basically, snapshot, that's the last capture that your subconscious mind has of this waking reality. And during our dreams, we are processing a lot of information throughout the day. Things that we have seen, things we have felt, things that we have heard, things that we did. And because that's now like the freshest thing in your psyche, that might be played out and processed within that dream. So don't fear. You can totally use this to your advantage. And during, like, before I fall asleep, I'll review my dreams and just see when I could have gotten lucid. I will review the things I dream about the most so I can start to create more awareness around it, like school. I still dream all the time that I'm in school. And that's like the main dream sign you guys know about me. If I was to ask you guys the one thing I dream about the most, you guys would probably say school, because I talk about it so much. And it's because I continue to still dream that I'm in school. Literally just like 2 days ago, that was my dream. And so if I'm dreaming of school a lot and I want to create more awareness in my dreams, then I should figure out a way to create more awareness around the things I'm dreaming about. Well, how would I do that in waking life? Well, I can train my brain that anytime it sees a school, that's a cue for check if you're dreaming. How do you know that you're awake right now? And so now every time I see a school, my brain automatically thinks of dreaming. Check if you're dreaming. How do we know that we're awake right now? And that is very beneficial, because now if I am dreaming of being in school, I'm more likely to have that thought come up. So that's why we get lucid, is because that prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain that's associated with our sense of self and our critical thinking, turns on because it was stimulated by something that caught it off guard. So we really just want to get used to thinking more about dreams, becoming critical of them, or what makes a dream, and breaking down your environment in ways mentally that you're not used to doing. We're so used to kind of running on autopilot throughout our day, and that's because this time we live in kind of requires that, right? We got to go to work, we got to come home, we got to make food, we got to hurry and get ready for bed. We don't really have a lot of time to stop and think and question. So that's going to be probably the most difficult part for you, is getting in the habit of reality checking, of not just assuming that you're awake, but asking yourself some questions to figure out how. With this practice, you're really your own scientist. You're running your own experiments. You will have totally different information to go off of in your practice than me, because our dream content is different. And if our dream content's different, then our lucidity triggers and our dream signs are going to be different. And what causes us to check if we're dreaming is going to be different. But all the foundations are the same. You really want your dream journal to be your best friend. I would recommend writing in it every single day. And there's some people that will say, well, if I'm not even remembering my dreams, what's the point of writing in my dream journal at all? Well, the dream journal is really just a memory building tool. It's really just a tool to help you build your memory over time. And one fun fact is writing your dreams down and building your dream recall will actually directly help you with waking life dream recall. So if you notice that you always forget your grocery list, or you tend to just like overload your plate with too many things in your mind and you can't keep track of them, this actually might help you be able to have more awareness and recall of the things that you do or that you want to remember throughout the day. So again, the dream journal is really just a memory building tool. So see it more than just a dream journal. It's a tool to help you build your memory. So you want to use this for every single morning, but anything that happens during sleep you can write down in your dream journal. So let's say that you didn't remember a dream last night, even though you asked yourself some great questions when you woke up. Do I remember what I dreamt of? Do I remember how I felt in my dreams? Do I remember who I was with at all? Do I remember any like environments that I went to? How did I feel when I woke up in general? What was the last thing that I thought about before sleep? You just want to get any information that you can to put in your dream journal. Again, it doesn't have to be sleep related. If the only thing you remember was having to pee so bad and waking up in the middle of the night to go pee and then getting back in bed and falling asleep, bam, perfect dream journal entry. You can go ahead and put that in. If you don't remember anything, so you just remember like basically blacking out and waking up and that's it, then you can write down just that. Or you can write down no recall, or I didn't remember any dreams tonight. And basically just writing in your dream journal, taking the time to write in your dream journal to report what happened, that's what shows your brain that it's a priority to remember your dreams and it's supposed to remember what happened so you have something to write down in the morning. But it only knows this if you consistently use your dream journal every single day. You will notice this from no dream recall to writing in your dream journal every single day. You will start to remember bits and pieces of your dreams within the next few days, the next week, and there you go. You automatically have content to write down and it will just keep building. It will become more vivid, it will get more profound, and then that's when it really starts getting good because you are having these moments of clarity or awareness within your dreams or dream signs that you can actually use to capitalize on getting lucid. But before any of that, dream journal. Dream journal is your best friend. Just practice writing in that every single day and you will notice your dream recall go up. And then once you have content in your dream journal to write, then that's when we're going to start looking through it to actually see what your dream content is. And if you just want to do some dream symbolism work, we can totally do that, and I definitely recommend doing that because dreams are so misunderstood, and I did a whole masterclass on this because dream symbolism is so unique and personal to you. And the subconscious, I see dreams as the subconscious mind writing us letters, but using images. So it always has something to report to us, but we just have to be willing to listen. And once we start to practice using our dream journal, you will notice your dream recall going up. The only thing that will cause it to not is if you are using a medication that suppresses REM sleep. Again, we dream in REM sleep, and REM sleep occurs about every 90 minutes of our sleeping cycle, but gets longer and longer as the night progresses. But if you are taking it could be an anxiety medication, a sleep medication, anything that suppresses REM sleep, you will notice that you don't remember dreams that much. And that's because a lot of when your REM is suppressed, it's usually something that helps you get more sleep. So it puts you into more deep sleep. And cannabis, we talk about this all the time. People are always asking, if I smoke cannabis daily, can I lucid dream? If you time it correctly and you don't smoke all day, every day, and maybe time it more for like the mornings, then you could have pieces of dream recall you remember, but it will be very hard to work with your dreams if you are using cannabis consistently every day. Hey, if you want a little piece of advice from me, maybe save it for the weekends, maybe like Friday night or something is when you can start using it. And then like Sunday night is when you just have those next 5 days to get work done, to wake up early, feel good, work out, do your dream work, and then you can, of course, reserve weekends for, and this is just an idea, because some people, I know that it's hard for some people to not smoke every day. I know some people need it for anxiety or pain, and so just work with where you're at, but the less that you can use it, the better, obviously for your dreams anyways, but also if you're going to, try to have like the last hours before you go to bed free, because if you even just use it in the morning, and it has all kind of data to work through your system, and even though it will still affect your dreams using it daily, you have a higher chance of remembering your dreams if you don't smoke right before bed. And again, drinking can also do this, but alcohol doesn't affect dreams as much. But anything that puts you into deep sleep, anything that couch locks you and causes you to just like be super relaxed and just pass out, there's a good chance it's probably putting you in deep sleep. So if you aren't remembering your dreams, no worries. That could be why. So I would just look at your practice, see what makes sense, see what applies to you, and then just find a way that you can work with it. Okay, let me come back to this really quick. Meditation helped me so much after playing Ghost of Tsushima for hours with beautiful landscapes. I lucid dreamed about the most beautiful place last night, full of color and light. I love dreams because they take you to places that you couldn't even imagine. Like, even for like grief, like as I've been healing from like my grandmother passing away, she has been visiting me in my dreams. I still have adventures with her where she'll come and pick me up, and dreams give you something that nothing else can. And you guys know from my my lucid dream like healing experience with my digestive issues that it can do so much more than just make an emotional and mental impact, right? And in a lot of cases it can also make a physical impact. And they know why. It's because of the placebo effect. The placebo effect is really the brain's ability to heal itself or get a different result because it's expecting to get that. So for example, yeah, they've been using this in the medical field for a very long time. They'll give some patients a sugar pill and some patients the real thing. They don't tell the patients though when they're giving them a sugar pill opposed to medication. So that person truly wholeheartedly believes that they're going to experience the effects from the medication. And that expectation alone allows the physical body, the mind, the psyche to create a similar experience on the physical body. And I thought that was so interesting that can also be accessed through mental rehearsal, hypnosis, lucid dreaming, liminal dreaming. I think that's super, super dope, and I can't wait to explore that more with you guys. Eventually, I've told you guys I want to open like a lucid dreaming / consciousness research center where we can look at the effects that these experiences have, not only mentally and emotionally, but on our physical body and how we can use them. Hello, Shay, how is it going? So good to see you. So yeah, I think that's so, so cool. What is up, Kai? Oh, you guys are the best. Yes, the journal is an igniter for sure. It will be very hard to progress in your dream work practice if you are not using a dream journal. Now, there's been some back and forth whether a paper journal is just as effective as a digital phone journal. And I personally like the physical journal because I can underline things, I can underline my dream signs, I can flip back through the pages and find specific dreams that I'm wanting to find just based off their titles or the dates. I'm like kind of nervous that if I just started tracking all my notes in like my phone or whatever, like what happens if my phone gets destroyed or something? Like I don't want to lose all that content. And so when I am lazy or I don't have time or like I have something to do shortly after getting out of bed, I'll just send myself a Facebook Messenger message with my dream in it, and then I'll just transfer it over later. Another benefit is a lot of technology can emit blue light, which stimulates the brain and tells your brain that it's time to wake up. So if you are someone that wakes up from dreams in the middle of the night and wants to write them down, that could pose a problem if you were trying to go back to sleep, but there are also blue light filters and blue light glasses and lots of ways around that as well. I don't know if you see that little light. It's like a little clip-on light that you can, it's like for reading. That would be super sick to have if you really want to write in your paper journal. You can just have that on your journal so you have a little light in the middle of the night so you can write in your dream journal. But the most important part is that you're writing them down. So I wouldn't say that it matters too much. I did have a friend that had his dream journal on like his computer, like in an Excel sheet or something, and in the mornings he would wake up and go to his computer and to write them down. I wouldn't say I necessarily recommend that because like the more that you're moving and just like going about your day right after your dream, the more likely it is that you will forget that information. And I'm sure that you guys have experienced that. You have a dream, you're like stumbling for your dream journal, and then the moment that you get it, you completely lose the the dream. And sometimes it will come back throughout the day in the shower. I don't know if that happens to you guys, but a lot of my dreams come back to me in the shower. And that's because in the shower, you're accessing theta brainwave. So it's kind of putting you in a hypnosis-like state where you don't have a lot of distractions, but you're also feeling a big sense of relaxation. And so more presence with relaxation really helps us get into deeper states. And so if you're ever looking to remember something or come up with new ideas for your creativity or your business, or even just recall some of the dreams that you've had, maybe try taking a shower. I'm sure there's other things that also work, but that's the time that I notice the most, probably, that it comes back to me. But yes, dream journaling is very important. I would not skip over it. Just the act of dream journaling shows your subconscious mind that you are ready to receive information, you are ready to communicate with this deeper part of yourself, and you are willing to do the work each morning to see what your subconscious mind has to say to you. You are really creating a friendship with your subconscious mind, and the more you work on creating a friendship with your subconscious mind, the more dreams you'll have, and the more profound they will be too. So if there's anything that you have maybe been avoiding, or maybe some things that you're healing from, dream work may bring that out, and I wouldn't say that that is a bad thing. It shows us what we need to see when we need to see it, and we can kind of do what we want with the information. But the important thing to know is when you are dreaming, you are in a completely safe place. This is a world of your own. This dream journal, no one ever needs to read, so don't try to filter yourself when you're using your dream journal. Really allow this space with working with your dreams to be a place that feels safe to you, that you feel like you can work in, and that you can speak your mind freely about what's happening. And then of course, if there's anything that like you want to share but you don't know how, or you feel a little weird about it but you really do want to share with someone, I am here to help you guys however I can. I'm always willing to listen to your dreaming experiences, to help you guys find maybe some of the unique symbolism that is presenting within your dreams, and we always have these conversations. And there is a form for the podcast and for videos. If you guys have a question you want to ask or an experience you want to share, you can always put it in there. Doing that, you are just agreeing that I am able to talk about it on the podcast or on a video, so we can break it down. But if you're just wanting to like message me personally, be like, hey, I dreamt about this, it made me feel really uncomfortable, or like I don't know how to proceed from this experience, and you just don't want it public, that's totally fine as well. Just let me know how I can help, because I definitely know that I've had a lot of dreams that are like really uncomfortable to work through, but they always seem to be the most powerful and transformative dreams. And there's something to remember with that. If you notice a dream that you has very high energy, and most of the time we notice that in like nightmares and stuff, there's a lot of energy. If you notice a dream that has more energy than others, that energy really equates to potential within the dream of like things that are tied into it that mean a lot to you, symbols or messages that would serve you with where you are at now. I truly believe the subconscious mind knows what it's doing, and if you have a dream that feels scary, or you don't want to look at, or you don't want to write down, just know that it's not what it seems. A lot of the times we have nightmares because what does that do? That causes us to wake up, to be alert, to pay attention. And because the subconscious mind works in symbolism, it's really just trying to get our attention. It's probably a wounded part of ourself that is just begging for love. And from my nightmares that I've gotten lucid in, you don't have to run away, by the way. You can turn around and show the dream love by just becoming aware. If you have like a nightmare figure, I've gotten lucid and just held on and hugged a nightmare figure before, and the whole dream started to shake and it burst into light. And I don't know necessarily what that means, that dream meant, but it clearly did something. And so you are in the driver's seat when it comes to these experiences. And so it's all about, I think, getting comfortable in the uncomfortable dreams or experiences we have, so we can see the underlying magic that has been waiting for us to discover. But dream journals, highly effective. Please write your dreams down. That is one of the biggest things that I let you guys know. Like, as long as you're writing them down in some way, like, that's all I want. And I promise you it will naturally progress. Your dream practice will naturally progress the more that you learn to work with your dreams and pay attention to what the dreams are saying. And We may have to do another like live stream sometime on dream symbolism, because we've talked a lot about this as well. But if you're wanting to decode your dreams or look into your dreams, symbolism in any way, it comes down to three main things in my eyes. The theme. What is the theme of the dream? Are you looking for something? Are you celebrating something? Are you mourning something? Are you confused about something? Are you angry about something? What is the theme of your dream? The next one is the emotions that are present. See if you can write down all of the different emotions that showed up within that dream. And I promise you, you're going to see some weird connections once you start connecting all of these different parts. So theme, emotions within the dream, and then any specific symbols that relate to you in particular. So maybe your mother showed up in your dream, maybe a stuffed animal that you've had since you were a little kid showed up in your dream. And those are important because it's not about the person or the object that shows up in your dream, but it's the meaning that you have to it inside. So let's say you did dream of your mom, but you had a very difficult relationship with your mom all growing up. It doesn't have to represent your mom. That could represent your relationship to your inner child. It could represent the mother wound. It could represent a specific situation depending on these other little pieces that are within the dream. So that's what I mean by like just switching your perspective a little bit on what shows up in your dreams, because it might not be what it seems. But just practice dream journaling daily. Once you start to have a bit of dream content to work with, then you can start looking through your dreams, looking at the symbolism. And I went to bed asking my subconscious mind a question for it to show me in a dream, and it is so intelligent. It knows when you are open to something. It knows when you are listening. And I promise you, you will see that in your own journey in whatever way that shows up. But back to lucid dreaming control, your control really comes down to how much awareness you have in the dream. And again, we can fix that by mental reality checks. And then the second point to that, that was a while ago, I'm sorry I haven't gotten to it sooner, is physical reality checks. So we already know the questions to ask ourselves to determine what reality we are in. But sometimes our brain can trick us. Sometimes it's not enough asking ourselves the mental questions. And this is why physical reality checks come in handy, because now you're actually using your physical environment to see what looks different between what's happening now and what usually happens in my dreams. The reason why physical checks work is because your dream has a very hard time at detailed pattern recognition. So your dream is going to have a hard time at keeping little titles on books on the bookshelf the same. It's going to have a hard time keeping numbers and letters that you see around the dream world the same. The lines on your hands are going to look different. You might have way more fingers than you remember in the dream. And basically we are capitalizing on those small differences. So in order to get yourself to look at your hand in the dream, for example, you want to create a habit of that when you wake up. So when you ask yourself those mental questions throughout the day, I would tie in some physical reality checks. Study the lines on your hands. Count your fingers and make sure you have 10. Sometimes the dream can be tricky, so maybe look away and count again, because that's sometimes when I've gotten lucid. In a dream, I'll be like, oh, time to do a reality check, and I'll have 10 fingers, but the moment I go to do it again, it's different. And that goes down to the next point. The dream has a hard time at replicating what it just created. So not only does it have a hard time at detailed patterns, but if you look away and look fast, like look back really fast, it can also have a hard time replicating the exact same thing. It's like kind of looking to see the glitch in the matrix in a way, you know? You're just capitalizing on these little moments and doing them so much in waking life that they naturally show up in your dreams. So how you want your dreaming self to be, you want to practice that in waking life. And eventually when it becomes a habit, it feels normal to you in the waking state to do that, you will notice that it starts showing up in your dreams. Now, when it comes to flying, you want to have a good amount of awareness, because it will be very hard to fly in a dream that you're like semi-lucid in, that you don't have a lot of control in. So your belief that you can fly has to be strong. You have to have enough awareness built in that it makes the dream, keeps the dream stable. And you have to find unique ways to try to fly within the lucid dream, because it's not going to be all one way or another way. Some people will literally just fly up in the sky by willing it to happen. Some people will try to get like a running head start. It really is up to your creativity with how you want to do that. Even when it comes to talking to your subconscious, I always talk about using the dream to speak to your subconscious mind out loud. I had someone that reached out to me and said, hey, I did what you said about, you know, communicating with my subconscious mind and calling out to the sky, but it didn't seem to work. And I was like, maybe you can try just pulling out your cell phone and like calling your subconscious mind. And it worked. It worked. And it's all about, yeah, doing something differently, finding a creative way to get to the same destination. It's not going to all look the same, and the dream world really is a direct representation of your creativity. And so I recommend playing around with it and seeing what works and what doesn't, and the results that you get from both. Regardless, that should also kind of be your goal with reality checks as well. When you ask yourselves questions and you do your physical reality checks, okay, what was the result of that reality check? Now you're getting yourself to actually pay attention to not just doing it, but okay, what was the result of that? That way you can note in your brain, okay, well, it appears that I'm awake because of these reasons. And if it feels critical, like you're not used to thinking this way, that's the point for sure, because what we're wanting to do is activate that prefrontal cortex, that sense of self, that critical thinking, more so throughout the day, so that it feels natural and helps us naturally lucid dream spontaneously without even having to try and do these techniques and time your REM sleep and wake up in the middle of the night. If you're looking for an easier way to create more lucid dreams spontaneously, then this is definitely the way to go. Now, not only can you count your fingers and look at your fine lines between on your hands, but you can just look at the world closely. Sometimes I just look at the clock. Okay, it's 5:52 p.m. I'll look away. Okay, it's 5:52 p.m. Yeah, that checks out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Sometimes I'll like just push my palm to like feel that it's solid, because if you even try to do this within a dream, a lot of the time it goes directly through your hand, and that's why a lot of people use the finger palm push throughout the day, because it should not go through your hand if you are awake. And if it does, that should tell you immediately that you're dreaming. So it's doing these different closer looks, more analytical looks in the waking state, and studying the result you get. That way, when you get a different result because you're dreaming, you have trained yourself to pay attention to what it is and to know like, oh, okay, this means I'm dreaming. Now, what happens as soon as you get lucid? Well, before you do anything else, before you get too excited, before you go running off trying to fly into the sunset, you want to stabilize the lucid dream. Stabilizing the lucid dream is basically grounding yourself in the experience so it feels more real, it looks more real, and you're able to move around the dream without it crumbling or fading or without you losing lucidity. Now again, awareness is going to be the main way you stabilize your lucid dream, and as soon as you get lucid, I recommend just repeating, I am dreaming, I am dreaming. This prevents you from forgetting that you're dreaming and just going back into a normal lucid dream or a normal non-lucid dream, for example. But on top of that, to truly stabilize the dream as soon as you get lucid, I like to interact with my dreaming environment. I touch my hands. I feel how vivid it feels. I will touch the ground. I will touch my clothes. I will feel anything that I can. I will see what I can hear, how far I can see, what I can smell. You're really just trying to immerse yourself in all of the sensations that the dream has in the dreaming environment, and that is going to convince the brain, oh shit, this is a real experience, because it doesn't expect it to be so immersive for you actually to be able to feel your way so vividly through the dream. So combined with reminding yourself that you are dreaming and stabilizing as you move around the dream, touching things. By the way, you don't need to be like touching the ground the whole time like as you're walking. An easy way to stabilize as you're walking around is just rubbing your hands, because it's on your person, so it's very easy. You don't have to stop and like touch every wall you see and stuff. But it also has so much sensation to it. Like, I feel my hands getting warmer. They feel like kind of tingly after doing that. And so that really helps you stabilize the dream consistently as you're moving around. You want to keep reminding yourself that it is a dream, and also interacting with the dream environment so your brain puts more attention into the detail. and the sensation of being in a dream. Once your dream feels stable, once you know that you are completely aware of the fact that you are dreaming, you may be ready to try flying. So this is where it comes down to your creativity. Personally, I can just kind of will myself to like jump high. That's like one of the ways. And sometimes I get out of issues in my dreams from doing that. Maybe like I'm on the street and some people start having beef with me. I can just like will myself to, it's very like those super high, like low gravity jumps. That's how mine is sometimes. But it really comes down to the belief you have about how easy it is to fly, because your beliefs and intentions control the whole show. If halfway, like, if you're about to try to fly and then all of a sudden you believe that it won't work because this reason or that, you might experience a visual representation of that limiting belief. That's how cool the lucid dream is. It can show you your desires, it can show you what you don't want to happen, it can show you everything. And so it's up to you. And that's what's so cool. It's up to you to choose and maintain the thoughts and beliefs that you want to have. That is so beneficial for waking life as well. And that's why one reason why I do so much inner work and personal work and healing work from the lucid dream, because it can bring to me everything within that I don't know how to get to, whether it's mental, emotional, whatever it is. And so if you have blocks or limiting beliefs or things you're trying to work through, look to your dreams. It will show you. And it will also show you visually how changing those beliefs changes your experience. I think that there's so much within lucid dreaming that is a perfect philosophy for life. And this is just one of the examples. But there's so many ways to try to fly within your dream. And I don't want to just list off tons of ways for you to fly. I want you to know what creates a stable environment so you can have an experience like that. And maybe close your eyes and mentally rehearse what it would feel like to fly. What would you see below you? What would it feel like in your physical body? And start to give your brain information of what it should expect or what it could expect when you have your first flying experience. Again, the more information we can provide our psyche, the better, because everything we see, everything we hear, everything we do is locked in our subconscious mind and presents itself into our dreams. A lot of the faces that you see in your dreams are strangers' faces that you have only seen like for 0.5 seconds in your lifetime. The subconscious mind is incredible. And so you can use pictures and videos and things on your computer to give your brain more information about what you want to experience. If there's a place that you want to go in your lucid dream, look up pictures of it. Find the most beautiful, beautiful place that you can imagine, and allow your brain some time to soak that in, to soak in the colors, to soak in the environment, and you'll be able to access it in 3D with full sensation and detail within your dreams. So it really is just about providing your brain with the correct information and getting excited. It's very hard to even lucid dream if you don't feel excited about it, or if you don't have a why, a reason, something that's pushing you to have that experience. So it really does come down to awareness, which equals control within the dream state, and your thoughts about flying. Look at how you think about flying. Look at your beliefs about that. And your previous experiences with trying to fly within your dreams, and what can you do differently? That's really what it's about. All right, let's see. I got a dream journal specifically for recording superpowers I unlocked. That sounds so dope, dude. Oh my gosh. That sounds so cool. Keep me updated. Doing a reality check when you wake up before you write in dream journal helps too, and trying to remember what you were doing or thinking before you went to bed. That's one of, I don't know if you guys have had this experience. You basically dream of waking up and getting ready for the day and going to work and all of that. And that's called a false awakening, because so many people believe that they're actually waking up for the day. They got ready for work, they're driving to work, and all of a sudden they wake up again, back in bed, and they're like, oh my god, I have to do this again, all over. I thought I was awake. That's called a false awakening. And yes, if you do a reality check as soon as you wake up, anytime you dream of waking up, you will habitually check if you're dreaming, because now that is a part of your habits in waking life. So that will directly translate into into those false awakening dreams. So I love that you mentioned that, Ramal, because that's definitely something I recommend as well. Doing a reality check and writing in your dream journal before your feet even touch the ground. Accepting your rascal side brought forth balance within. Our shadow, there's so much work to be done in, like, with shadow work within the dream state that we don't realize we're rejecting a huge part of ourself. And just because we all have a shadow doesn't mean it's anything negative. The shadow part of ourself is just everything that we've denied, suppressed, or disowned, anything that we've been embarrassed about or we've tried to hide from the world. And so shadow work can be done by illuminating our shadow with our awareness. And that's why a lot of the time with the shadow work is the seeing is the doing, because so often we're not even willing to look at our shadow to even begin to think about what the work is. So just letting it exist, giving it your full attention and awareness and love is so often what is needed to heal parts of our wounded self. So the lucid dream state makes it very easy to feel safe within an environment where you're presented to with something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Lucid dreaming kind of takes the edge off of doing that inner work because you know that you're safe regardless, especially if you're lucid dreaming. You know that it's a dream, and so you feel more willing and open to work with those deeper parts of yourself. In my lucid dreams, my subconscious isn't that nice, where it feels like I can do something magical, but I can't. Why? It's just the humanness. We have been trained, like we've been programmed to think and believe and act a certain way that it takes a little bit to figure out how to challenge that. But it's just getting curious about the thoughts and the beliefs you have, not judging them, not getting mad at yourself, but just being curious of like, and why do I believe this? And try to reel back like where that belief even came from. And so often you'll realize that it came from a belief that's not even yours. It came from somebody else. And so it's just asking the right questions, getting curious, and tracing back where different understandings came from. And again, if you're lucid, you can do a ton of this work while lucid. You can call out to the sky to ask to see a specific archetype within yourself. For example, you can meet your inner anger, your inner creativity, your inner child, and actually ask questions directly to that inner archetype. It is incredible. It is so crazy. And so it turns like shadow work from something scary to something that's like really exciting, because everything that we spend so much time searching for, or the things that we're trying to ask ourselves questions about, they're presented to us in a visual way that, from my understanding, nothing else is like this practice for inner work and personal work. Lucid dreaming is, oh my god, we can totally get into this forever. There's so many different pieces about it. This is why I've done like 3-year-long programs on dream work, because there is so much that I can break down into their own classes on their own. Like, there's so much to be done within lucid dreaming. There is so much. You can also practice skills and actually wake up with improved skill, because when you're practicing things within the lucid dream, you're able to learn 7 to 9 times faster, because the conscious mind isn't rejecting all this new information. Not only is that, but yeah, you can meet inner archetypes. You can visit places that you never even dreamed were possible, and you can make a physical impact on your physical body if there's anything that you're trying to work on. Again, I can't say exactly what will work and what won't, but as far as me, it really helped with my inflammation. It helped with my flare-ups in general, with my digestive issues, and I'm telling you, I'm like 90 to 93% better than I was before I found dreaming. Now the only time I really have like flare-ups or issues is when I get really anxious, like with my grandma, taking care of my grandma in hospice. I was so stressed out that I was just in a flare-up for like over a week straight, and it was awful. But it's like, it's situational now. It's not just like a chronic, constant thing. And so I definitely invite you guys to play around with it, see what works, see what doesn't work, and run some experiments that you've never heard anyone talk about, because that is the funnest way to use lucid dreaming, is to test its boundaries within your own practice and to even challenge what you believe the limit to be. Go past that within dreaming, because I found that, again, that's a great philosophy for how we should live in waking life as well. There's so many different connections there. Maybe I should make a video on that, like how I think lucid dreaming can help us directly with just living a better life in waking life. Just the philosophy behind some of it is really, it really resonates as far as how I want to live in waking life. My unique way of flying in my dreams is clenching my buttocks and flexing my legs as though I were pushing up against something. See, and I've done that before too. I've also made like a running start. You know, you put your head down and you just start running, and then I'll like kind of get off the air, kind of like stumbling around. There's so many different ways, and I want to hear after this live, like how you guys experiment within your dreams and what worked that you didn't expect it to. That's what I really want to hear about. I know, Marcus. It's so good to see you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for showing up, Marcus. It is really good to see you. I miss you guys so much. As you can tell, I'm ready to go. And I was on time, 5 o'clock p.m. on the dot. Okay, I'm ready. And I feel really, really excited to be here with you guys again. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Like Inception. Yeah, he has like a little spinning top to see if he's dreaming or not. And why I prefer like reality checks with your hands, for example, is you can't always guarantee that you'll have that spinning top, right? But you should always have your hands. And so I use my hands a lot for my dream work. But of course, I use other things that are in my environment to also test. You never just want to get used to one way of doing things. You want to switch things up. You want to use something for a physical reality check that you haven't used before. You really don't want your brain to get used to one way or the other, because that's when it can start to take control, is when it kind of knows what to expect, and then it can really start getting clever. Like if you only count your fingers for a reality check, eventually the more you look at your hands and the more you dream of your hands, they're going to start to look more and more realistic over time. So it's going to be harder to tell when you're dreaming and when you're not. So just constantly be switching shit up. Have like a handful of like cool reality checks in your belt, you know, and just switch them out. Just do things differently. Run different tests. And like some people were like, I was waking up every morning at 4 a.m. to do a lucid dreaming technique, and I was getting lucid every single night. And now I can't even fall back asleep at 4 a.m. What's going on? It's like, well, you trained your body to wake up at 4 a.m. So now it's like, it's getting to a stimulated state at 4 a.m. because it knows you're going to wake up at 4 a.m. And so now it just keeps you up at 4 a.m. because it thinks you want to wake up at that time. So constantly be switching stuff up. Again, it's not going to happen overnight. You can try things for a few weeks and then switch them to something else, or just, you know, just make your practice fun. Don't let it get dull, okay? Because the more fun you have with your practice, the more energy there is around dreams, the more energy there will be in your dreams that you have. So just keep that in mind. Let me see really quick. Oh, I think why it's so difficult for me is that even during waking hours, I'm not certain of my own lucidity. My personal philosophy says the world is already an illusion. Yeah, and so we really just want to see, what would I have to ask myself in order for me to realize that I'm dreaming? Like, if I was dreaming right now, what are the questions that I wish I could ask myself? And how do I want to see my environment around me? We kind of just want to put ourselves in the state of consciousness as if we were dreaming. And that's been the easiest way for me to get reality checks to work, is for it not to feel like a chore, not something that I'm just crossing off my list, but I'm actually merging my waking life, this version of myself, with my dream self. And I'm trying to find similarities to this reality that connect to my dreams, and vice versa. We really want to merge these two states in a way that allows them to flow with one another and also benefit one another as well. I've watched Peter Pan so many times that at this point I fly whether I'm lucid or not. I just believe I can fly no matter what. I love that, and I've definitely had some like non-lucid dreams where I've flown away. I remember I can't remember, but I was having like beef with this group of people in my dream, and things started to get like, they started to like threaten me or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, and I just kind of like do my little high jump fly thing in the air. And I seemed to be, luckily, I was the only one that could fly. Imagine if they're like, bro, everyone can do that. What are you talking about? So it's very interesting. Yeah, once you break down some beliefs, it even shows up in your non-lucid dreams. Hello, Erin. How is it going? Good to see you. Yeah. Reality checks with my hands are also my go-to for sure. For sure. It's definitely the easiest because you should always have your hands. And of course there's other ones as well. Like some people plug their nose and try to breathe in through their nose because when you do this reality check in the waking state, you're actually plugging your physical nose. But when that shows up in your dream, you're actually still sleeping in bed, so your physical nose isn't plugged. So when you do this reality check while you're dreaming, you can breathe just fine. And if you built up enough awareness to notice, then that could totally help you induce a lucid dream as well. So it's all about trying new things, exploring what works and what doesn't work, and finding unique ways that you can influence your dreams and create more presence, for sure. Let me see. Oh, perfect, Edward. Perfect. Let me see. Thoughts on shrooms? Have you used them or had any experiences with them? Yeah, I've definitely used psilocybin before. It's definitely been a while. It's definitely been a while since I've used any psychedelics. But they were one of my favorites, honestly. Psilocybin and then pure LSD I've used before. I really don't use them for like recreational purposes. I usually use them for like inward journeys on my own, and I'm not someone to like do those with like a big group of people like some people want to. It's more of a introverted type of just like inner self journey, I believe, and I would use it a lot for like my creativity or like emotional things that I was working through. But yeah, I do have experience with it, but again, it's been years since I've used any psychedelics at all. But we'll have to talk about that sometime, because there is so much to say with that, and also how it kind of connects to more energetic parts of ourselves, our out-of-body experiences, dreams. I definitely can say that I noticed a big difference in my dreams for a while after that. For sure. Okay, guys, so Mondays, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we gonna be here on the channel, alright? I have more content that is coming out, already scheduled to go out on the main channel. We're going to start doing daytime ambiences for like 3 hours. We're going to kind of test it out. But these are things that you can use in the background during the day. You just have on your TV. It looks really nice. It's just like a really animated, pretty animation that me and my producer made. So we have the sleep time channel stuff. And I'm going to be experimenting with stuff that you can use during the day on this channel for meditation, focus, and whatever else you want to use it for. I always have that type of stuff playing, and so I thought if there's anyone else like that as well, here's some daytime stuff for you that will be coming out on the channel. Again, I'm going to be starting up my podcast again. I'm so excited now that I'm back traveling and everything's kind of balanced out. We will definitely be starting that out again. I'll keep you guys updated on the app. That is coming super soon. I'm very excited about that. Within the next month or so, I think. I know it's not out for like Android users yet. I think it is for. I'll just have to find out and update you guys on that. But definitely stay around, because more content will be coming. It feels so good to hang out with you guys again. I love and have missed you so very much. So with that being said, I love you guys so very much. Thanks again for joining with me. And again, if you're not part of the Telegram community and you want to be, Eric, if you don't mind posting my link tree, I would really appreciate that. My link tree will have all of my resources on it. I'm getting my website figured out right now. I'm getting it finished. I have been traveling and away, and so I haven't been able to get that figured out, but everything will eventually move to the website. But if you are looking for my resources, how to connect with me or how to connect with the community outside of these live streams, then you can check out my link tree, and that will be all of the information that you should need. Where are you? So I am back in Utah. I just got back from Hawaii, but I am officially back. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. So there is my link tree for you guys, and yeah, if you ever want to ask questions, share your dreams, connect with the community, the Telegram chat will be the place to be, but everything should be there. Alright guys, thanks Nathan, thanks for joining, I really appreciate it. Good to see you, welcome to the community, welcome to the Dream Fam, always welcome. Yes, Erin, yes, we will have to chat soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was a little bit at the I'm glad that you showed up before I was like ending, because I've had people show up that I haven't seen in forever, like as I'm clicking the end button, and I'm like, wait, I wanted to see you. So I'm very glad that we caught each other, Erin. I hope that you have been good. Yes, no worries. We'll have our own chat. This is a higher alignment that I've had on my channel before. I definitely want to have another talk with him soon. Go subscribe to Higher Alignment. He creates incredible content around dream work and personal development, and he creates the most beautiful products I've ever seen in my life. So definitely check him out. Give him some love. He deserves it. And I love you guys. I will see you next Monday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the dot. And I will be on time. And I will show you. I will be on time again. 2 weeks in a row, I can do it. Alright guys, love you. Mwah. And as always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity. Bye guys. Have a great night / week.